State Senator, 18th District, John Eklund is our establishment incumbent. I don't know at this point if anyone is planning to run against him, but somebody should. State Representative in the 60th District, that's part of Lake County. It's a very Democrat-leaning district. I don't know of anyone at this point, but if you are in the Willowick, Eastlake, Willoughby, that area of Lake County, please consider at least getting your name on the ballot. Actually, there aren't a lot of Republicans that run in this district, primarily because it's a tough one. But you can get your name on the ballot. Ron Young is the 61st District State Representative. He is a conservative. We've supported him in the past. Lake County Commissioners. We have Jerry Serino, who has announced his candidacy. He would be considered, I think, an establishment guy. And John Hamercheck, who ran 4 years ago for the election, or 2012, is a conservative. And Kim Laurie, who we supported last time, is definitely a conservative. How do we determine what qualifications should be used for a candidate? In Exodus 18:21, God's Word gives us some basic principles on that. And actually, I heard this from Rafael Cruz when he spoke, but I've heard it elsewhere as well. You shall select out of all the people able men. So men and women that are capable, able to do the job, such as fear God. If you remember that those two circles where you had God, government, and man, when government recognizes accountability to God, you've got a good elected official. Men of truth. We have a shortage of those in Washington, D.C. today.
Amen.
And President Obama, I don't know, maybe he's told the truth on occasion, I don't remember. But almost all of it's lies. And some of our establishment GOP folks aren't a lot better at times. And finally, hating covetousness. So if you're not going to be bribed into doing the right thing, the wrong thing, and you're a man of principle and willing to stand on that principle, you will be ostracized in Washington, but also they won't believe that such a person exists. Because in Washington they've had some elected congressmen who stand on principle and tell them they won't deviate from that. Even if they don't win another election, they won't get any money or whatever, they still stand on their principle. That is the kind of official we need to have in Washington and everywhere else.
Statesman.
Statesman, yes. Now, you may not realize this, but a number of our states, and I don't know just how many, back at the beginning of our foundation of our country, when they were elected, they had to take an oath as part of their oath of office. They had to declare their belief in God. Maryland had that as a state constitutional requirement for the first 200 years, until a Supreme Court decision in 1961 determined that that was unconstitutional. Our founding fathers didn't know it was unconstitutional, and the residents of Maryland for 200 years didn't know it was unconstitutional. But our Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom in 1961, determined that it was unconstitutional. Anybody hear of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, theologian from Germany, World War II era? Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. Let me repeat that. Silence in the face of evil is itself evil. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. The church largely allowed Hitler to do what he wanted to do. Church today, and for a number of years now, has withdrawn from the civil political arena, and when the salt and light of the church is removed from that arena, the only option is for darkness to dwell there. Darkness leads to corruption, corruption leads to tyranny. A quote from Winston Churchill, and then we really need to consider this. If you will not fight for right when you can easily win without bloodshed, if you will not fight when your victory is sure and not too costly, you may come to the moment when you will have to fight with all the odds against you and only a precarious chance of survival. There may even be a worse case. You may have to fight when there is no hope of victory, because it is better to perish than to live as slaves. Now, excuse me, we may think that just because these sort of things haven't happened to us in the United States, that they can't happen. Truth is, they can. Excuse me. Ronald Reagan said, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on for them to do the same. Or one day we will spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it was once like in the United States when men were free. I don't want to do that. I don't want to have to do that. Ronald Reagan also said, you and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We will preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we will sentence them to take the first step into 1,000 years of darkness. If we fail, at least let our children and our children's children say of us, we justified our brief moment here. We did all that could be done. We can't give up without a fight. I'm betting that you are here tonight because you care about our country, you care about your children, you care about your grandchildren, you care about the sacrifice that so many gave before us. The sacrifice where they shed their blood and gave their lives. Are we going to just let that slip away because it's hard to get out of our comfort zone? Because we'd rather spend our money elsewhere instead of supporting a conservative candidate? Because I'd rather stay home and watch the game instead of going out and knocking on doors and talking to people? Those are the things that we have to do if we want to have an opportunity to change the people that can change the policy. If we don't change the people, the policy will not change. If Hillary Clinton is elected after Barack Obama, it will only get worse. She is one mean woman.
That's why she has people. Yeah, that's why she wrote people off.
We have presented a case tonight, I think, that demands a verdict. We've shown where we've come from. There's a plan forward. If that verdict that we presented is true, the natural outcome is that we need to take action. We can't just sit. To not to speak is to speak. To not to act is to act. And if we don't act now in the next 7 months, it may very well be too late. What happens in 7 months? There's a primary. We have 7 months to work to ensure that we get the representation on the November ballot that we want. If we don't do the work in the next 7 months, others will determine who's on the ballot in November, and then we're back to voting for the lesser of two evils, which is still evil. And a matter of fact, sometimes that lesser of two evils is more evil than the other, because the other, you know, is lying to you all the time, and the lesser one, it's hard to tell when they're lying and when they're telling the truth. So we need patriots who are willing to get involved, and truly getting involved is because you are a patriot. I'm going to show a short video clip that, anybody seen the movie The Last Ounce of Courage? A few of you have seen that? Okay.
As you probably have heard, I am no longer the mayor of this town. So tonight I stand here a freedom fighter. This country was founded by freedom fighters. Men and women who love their country and their creator. 400 years ago, our forefathers left the religious oppression of another land to build this one. And the first thing they did was to put a cross on the shores of the Atlantic. But it was more than a cross. It was a symbol that in this land, a citizen has the freedom to worship as he or she desires, or the freedom not to worship at all. My fight isn't about colored lights or a tree on the city square. My fight is about freedom and taking back what has been stolen from us. We are losing freedoms, one by one, that our forefathers, our brothers in arms, and my son died for. It is time we stood up for what they died for what we believe in. Our rights are being destroyed, perhaps forever. But don't you see? We're letting it happen. We're asleep. We sleep and they come in like a thief in the night and they take what's left. Wake up! We can't sleep anymore! Wake up and look around you! Look what's coming over the horizon! We can't let the enemy take one more inch! Not one more inch! We can't be silent anymore! The silence has to stop, and it has to stop today! Young men and women are dying in foreign lands to preserve the freedoms that we enjoy every single day. Can you hear them? Just Just listen. It's their voices from the grave. They're wondering if they died in vain. Do we dare diminish their sacrifice by our silence? Well, if your answer is no, then you think about this. When history is written, will history say you stood by and you did nothing? Or will history say that you fought? You fought like those brave souls. You fought to preserve the memory of the young men and women that have given everything for this country and for you. We fight for freedom. We fight for freedom. We fight for freedom.
Okay, Last Ounce of Courage, if you haven't seen that, it's a really, really good movie. Okay, just about everyone can do at least one thing, and others of us can do more. We need to do what we can. We need to give serious consideration as to how you can be involved in making a difference. There's that sign-up sheet I talked about. The lights will be coming on here shortly. Take a look at that sign-up sheet. See where you can help. You can help probably in more than one area. Those sign-up sheets have been delivered or distributed. Also, there's that presidential survey, so please fill that out and turn that in before you go. So what can we do right now? We can support our conservative Ohio House members. The bill, Ohio Pastors Protection Act, has been introduced by State Rep. Nino Vitale. It is designed to protect pastors and church property. Representative Ron Young is introducing a similar bill to protect business owners. We need to support them and call because I think our governor is very much in favor of these things. Contact your NOACA representative, tell them you want nothing to do with the NEOSCC plan, Northeast Ohio Sustainable Communities Consortium. Anything where you hear sustainable development or livable communities, it's not good. Unless, of course, you like living in highly densely populated areas without a car. If you like that, you know, that might not be so bad. But you'd like to at least have the choice. The 5 members of the NOACA board are listed there, including our 3 county commissioners, Raymond Jerkowski, the general manager of Lake Tran, and James Gills, county engineer. Congressman Dave Joyce, you can call him and ask him to what he's doing to stop the affirmatively furthering fair housing rule enacted by the Obama administration. That is in one of the handouts. There's more information about that, but that's basically Agenda 21, giving the federal government power over the local communities to establish regional, unaccountable jurisdictions over us, and ask him to support the First Amendment Defense Act, which would ensure that the federal government couldn't take away nonprofit tax-exempt status or deny grants, contracts, accreditation, etc. to individuals or institutions for following their faith's belief that marriage is a union between a man and a woman, which if they pass, I'm sure the Supreme Court, in its infinite wisdom at some point, will rule that it is unconstitutional. But it should be supported. Okay, finally, just wrap up here. Upcoming events. August 8th, we have a picnic, group picnic. Everyone's welcome to attend at Tom Hack's residence. We'll be getting more information out about that. Saturday, August 8th from 3 to 7. We will have some candidates there you can talk to. And it's kind of nice to be able to get together with people of like mind and just talk and get to know one another. Here in the meeting, you're sitting next to somebody you may not know, but there you have opportunity to talk to folks. Our next meeting will be August 20th here, Thursday. Kim Laurie, President of Mentor 912 Project and candidate for County Commissioner, will be giving us a legislative update on sustainable development and regionalism. And the more you learn about that, you understand just how scary that is. Skip?
Yeah, if you don't mind, Skip Claypool, County Commissioner of Geauga County, I wanted to talk about NOACA for just 5 seconds.
Okay.
Actually, Dan Troy stood up in defense of Geauga County. Cleveland and Cuyahoga County wants to remove 1 seat from Geauga County. We have 3 seats out of 45. They want to remove 1 seat from Medina County. They have 4 or 5 seats out of 45. And actually, Dan Troy and the other Lake County Commissioners stood up in defense of Geauga County, saying this was wrong. So even they know that that is wrong. Cleveland, and because Kim Laurie is an alternate for Geauga County, and doing a great job, I might add, on the NOACA board, and because the Geauga County representative said that we're challenging them, we're questioning things they're doing, this NEAS plan, the HUD fair housing plan, which I can tell you is being pushed very aggressively into our communities. And I just met with one of our county people today to talk about what the strategies are for us to kind of thwart that. But if you're reaching out to Dave Joyce and Jim Renacci, impress upon them to support Mike Lee's bill to do away with MPOs. We do not need MPOs in the state of Ohio.
What are MPOs?
Metropolitan Planning Organizations. Mike Lee sent a bill in Congress, asked them to support that bill, asked them for a formal response, and when they respond to the negative, send that to Matt Lynch, because he's going to need some help. And ask them to support Geauga County and Medina County and the minority counties' interest in NOACA. We've got to sit on the board and try to push back on Cleveland and Cuyahoga County to the extent that we can. And it's important that our congressmen stand up and defend these minority counties. And so far, they're kind of weak-kneed in doing that. So if you're calling, we need your help to support what we're doing on the NOACA board and try to push back on that stuff.
Skip, how long the meetings are so we can go and listen to what's going on?
The meetings are once a quarter. They're not regularly scheduled. So, by the way, you are welcome to come to the meetings. We could use 30 or 40 people in those meetings to speak out against some of the stuff that they've got on their agenda, and their agendas are wildly progressive, as you might.
As soon as we become aware of when the meetings are, we will get that posted on our website.
We really need your help. I mean, right now we're in a battle. Our prosecutor just sent a message to Cleveland and Cuyahoga County and said, if you pursue this, if you remove one of our people, we will sue you. And so we're setting them up for a battle. So they've kind of backed up. They violated their own bylaws and in the process of trying to remove one of our board members. But they don't care about that. Because like Obama, they don't care about the law. They don't care about the procedure. They don't care about what's established. They're going to do what they want to do, contrary to what is right and what's lawful. And so we're trying to push back on that. We're trying to fight that. Our prosecutors already said, you can't do that. It's contrary to law. We will sue you if you pursue that. Dave Joyce has said he would support us. And I'm not feeling the love, I got to tell you. And Jim Renacci also. So we could use your help. And your help would come from calling Dave Joyce and say, please, stand up for Geauga County. We're from Lake County. But we know that if this precedent is set, Lake County's next. What was the old saying? First they came for, then they came for. Well, they're going to come after Geauga County.
Right.
You guys have some liberal Democratic people on the board, and so they don't dislike them as much as they like those of us who speak out. But you're next, because we're speaking out about NEASC and all that kind of stuff, which is in their plan. But the NEASC plan, by the way, includes the fair housing stuff that was pushed through HUD. HUD did an analysis through the NEASC plan to set the stage and set the foundation for everything that's coming. Everything that's coming has been one step at a time, one step at a time. And so, as he said, this is so important because we are losing so much so rapidly. And if we don't put a stake in the ground right now and say, not another inch, and you can help, your voice will make a difference. And so thanks for giving me the time.
Our thanks and appreciation to Skip and Kim, who both stand up for what's right in Nowaka, even though they stand alone usually. August 29th, if you're interested in running for Central Committee, there's actually a candidate training in Ravenna on Saturday from 1 to 4 on August 29th. We'll get you in contact with that group if you're interested. And finally, September 17th will be our September meeting. We haven't determined the topic yet, but that'll be on September 17th. So our meeting is always the third Thursday of the month. And so that's it. Lights, please.
Good job.
Thank you, but the work is just starting now, and the work is for all of us together to do that work to accomplish what we need to accomplish to turn things around. So thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you for your kind attention. Turn in the presidential surveys. We do have a copy of Last Ounce of Courage, 2 copies if you're interested in borrowing that, take it home. Yeah, they're back on the table there. And hope to see you again next month. Turn in the sign-up sheets too. Thank you so much. God bless you.